All right, welcome back, everybody. We're going to do a slightly different reaction this time, but I think this is going to be a fun one. I was watching a video by my man, Bruce Rivers.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
I don't know Bruce, but I love Bruce. I've seen a lot of his videos. And he said something that gave me pause. I was like, wait a minute. So we're going to watch that here, and then I'm going to react to Bruce. So let's see.
The video we're about to watch is DWI stop complicated by a drunk police chief.
Hey, Ron, just pull that up and put it to the shoulder. Yeah. Thanks.
What is it?
The RMA.
I am not the police, okay? I came here with the ambulance. I want to make sure you're okay.
I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know. I'm asking you if he's RMA or not.
Oh, yeah, no.
What?
Yeah, I get that.
First of all, when you're in this situation, it sucks. I've never been in that situation. I've been pulled over, I think, 3 times for DUI in the course of, 20 some odd years. Well, no, longer than that, since I was 16. And never once have I been arrested for DUI, because I don't drink and drive. You really should not drink and drive at all, period. If you're going to go out, guess what? Get an Uber. You don't want to be in the back of a squad car, and all of a sudden your night's ruined. Your date looks at you like, you idiot, and then all of a sudden you lose your license, you get into jail. And most of the time, there's very little we can do with DUIs. So, I know a lot of people, when, DUI lawyers will tell you, oh, I can do this. Guess what? Most of the time, the DUI lawyer is lying to you to get your money.
Where do you begin with this, right? First of all, let me say I love Bruce. Bruce Rivers, he's a criminal lawyer. My man Bruce. He does a great job. He's got the best rap in the game, But who is he? I love Bruce. And I like his take on a lot of things. And I will say I like his take here, too, for the most part. And that is that don't drink and drive. Take an Uber. It sucks, right? Being investigated for a DUI. I've said that a million times on this channel. If nobody ever drinks and drives again, I'll be just fine, I promise. So there's not much self-interest here. There's plenty of cases. I would rather there be fewer. Don't drink and drive. But then he kind of loses me at the end here. Not because he says there's nothing you can do. That might be true in Minnesota where he practices. I don't know. I know that there are some states where your first DUI is kind of like a traffic ticket and it's still kind of slap on the wrist and be on your way. Maybe that's his context. Maybe that's his frame of reference. I have no idea how the law works there. I can just tell you without a doubt that that's not true here in Illinois. You need a lawyer. And I'll go into that more. And we'll talk about that. But I also want to circle back on something else Bruce said, which is I've been stopped and investigated for DUI 3 times. And I wasn't drinking or drunk on any of those. And he didn't get arrested. Why didn't Bruce get arrested? Probably because he's a criminal lawyer and he knows what to do and what not to do, right? So now imagine that everyday normal citizen who's also stopped and investigated for DUI, just like Bruce, they weren't drinking, but their case turns out differently, right? They did get arrested because they didn't have the legal chops that Bruce did and know what to say and not say and do and not do out there on the street. A lot of people, the very first time they have any real interaction with the police, whether the subject of an investigation is a traffic stop. Bruce is telling you he handled his properly. But isn't it reasonable to think with all the traffic stops out there, there's plenty of people who didn't handle it properly and got arrested despite not actually committing the crime? So now to say there's really nothing you can do is totally conflicting with that. Runs total counter to that. So I have an issue just with what he said. Those people, those people deserve the representation. And there's absolutely things you can do. Now let's turn to Illinois specifically, because again, I'm not like going to fight Bruce about this. I don't. He may be totally right, and maybe just get a slap on the wrist. You don't need a lawyer or whatever. Here in Illinois, there are two parts to a DUI. One of them is what happens to your license. The second one is what is the outcome to the criminal charge of driving under the influence. Both of those things really matter, in especially that driver's license one. It is like you have to have a formal filing in the court with the basis for your hearing, timely. You have to demand a hearing. Nobody has ever, it's so like convoluted, and that's another problem. I do wish they simplified it to where non-attorneys could navigate this. But the truth is they can't right now. So here in Illinois, you need an attorney if you're going to have any shot of saving your license after a DUI charge. Any. And a public defender won't even do it. Even if you get appointed a public defender, they're only dealing with the criminal charge. So you can kiss your license goodbye for 6 or 12 months if you do not have a private lawyer here in Illinois. There's one reason right there to hire a lawyer. And I think last week we had about 11 cases. Well, I didn't think, we looked, there were 11 cases that we helped people get their driver's license back last week. So can we help people in this situation? Yes, of course. Maybe you can tell me the system is designed to do that. It's all about money. Even if that's true, what Bruce is saying, I think, is an oversimplification, at least here in Illinois. All right, the other thing, now we're going to talk about the actual criminal charge of a DUI versus, say, a different criminal charge. Like, why is Bruce's statement that, like, a lawyer can't really help you? They say you can, but they can't really help you. Why is that true on a DUI charge, but why not something else? Like, I've seen Bruce talk about murder a lot. Let's compare the two for a minute. In a murder, they have to basically, let's simplify this a lot, have proved that you committed the criminal act. And there's usually not much question about what the result was, right? Somebody died. The thing that needs to be proven is simply an act. The person's mental state at the time does play a degree in terms of intention and stuff like that, but they just got to prove that this person pulled out the gun and shot him. And we know what resulted. The person died. Much more straightforward than some DUIs where the act is driving, but it's the mental state, it's their condition, their physiological condition at the time. Were they impaired? If so, how impaired? To the point where they were unable to operate a motor vehicle safely? Well, why? How are we going to determine whether or not they were able to operate a motor vehicle safely? Because of the way they walked and stood and answered questions and their eyes appeared, right? That's way more like so many steps, so many little hurdles to jump through to reach that end conclusion that somebody's intoxicated. And so there's so much more to do and argue, oftentimes, on a DUI than there is even on a more serious murder case. I hope that makes some sense. Like, you got to think about the different series of events and what must be proven in each. And that's why DUIs can be a pretty complicated case, because the prosecution is trying to prove someone's mental state, their abilities, not what they did, a shooting, but what their mental capacity was in the moment. And that is a much more intangible thing. And so there's a lot more to argue about many times, conceivably, right? So I just disagree with the fundamental premise that, there's not much to do on a DUI. Now, don't get me wrong. There absolutely are some DUIs where you're like, well, that is not going to go well, right? Like, they're clearly ridiculously intoxicated. You're never winning that case in a million years. We have those. And so let's talk. Should we just turn those down and say I can't take your money. I'm not going to represent you. There's nothing I can do. Well, first of all, I don't know that until I see the video, right? No idea. So I take on the representation, I get the video, I watch that, and we make that determination. you do not have a case for trial. We will not play this video in front of a judge. That would be a terrible decision. All right, now we're mitigating, right? We're trying to resolve this in a way where we know this case isn't just magically going to go away. We know we're not going in front of a judge or a jury and getting a not guilty. But you know what? A lot of good people make dumb decisions, right? And if it's their first dumb decision, and thank God nobody's hurt and killed or in an accident, whatever, then how do we resolve this in a way that allows them to learn from their mistake, right? Are they going to have fines and fees? And yeah. Are they going to have classes to do? Yeah. Are they going to be without a license for a while? Yeah, maybe, right? But do they deserve to go to jail? I don't know. Do they deserve to permanently lose their license? I don't know, right? That's the things that still need to get figured out, even in a losing case. And there's tons of room for negotiation there. There is no predetermined outcome to a DUI case, at least here in Illinois. All right, so let's break this down to like the core elements of criminal defense, whether that's a murder or a DUI. My theory is it really doesn't matter in terms of how it operates. And that's why you need a good defense attorney on both. And there's really not much of a difference just because those happen to be two very different criminal offenses. The value of an attorney, the value that a good defense attorney can bring is present on both. And that's because a prosecutor is trying to prove all elements of the crime beyond a reasonable doubt in either of those. Can they do that? I don't know. It's the attorney's job to make that difficult, or at least hold them to that burden. That is when justice is served, when the prosecution is held to that awesome burden of proving all elements of the crime beyond a reasonable doubt. So in both criminal cases, having that defense attorney there doing an effective job allows justice to be served. Now, number two is once that's done, either because they've proven it in court, all the elements of the crime beyond a reasonable doubt, and now we're at sentencing, or we're like, hold on, like they're going to be able to prove it. We don't want to go to trial. We want to negotiate something. Should the prosecutor be able to just unilaterally decide on the sentence? Like, here, well, I've been able to prove you guilty, or I can prove you guilty, so here's your sentence. No. The system works when there's push and pull, right? There's two forces opposing each other. That's, again, where justice is served. And so a defense attorney in the murder or in the DUI is going to put together what we call mitigation, right? A lot of information to present to the court or the prosecutor that, hey, this isn't just a murder. This isn't just a guy driving around drunk ready to hurt people. It's a human being with a family, with a job. And, good people, especially in the case of a DUI, maybe not so much on a murder, but you can make the argument, right? Good people make dumb decisions sometimes, right? That's especially true on a DUI, right? A first-time DUI. And so what should the penalty be for a one-time dumb decision? And an effective DUI attorney is gonna make that argument and allow the person to not have whatever sentence the prosecutor just chooses, right? The judge is going to hear both sides, right? And make a decision in terms of what sentence they want or what they're going to go along with. All right, so that's my take on it. I'm not going to crucify Bruce here on it. God knows I have said a lot of things on video that I was just kind of sad and didn't fully think through. I'm not sure if that's the case here with Bruce or if, there's more to his take here. I would love to know. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Am I right? Am I wrong? What do you think about Bruce's comments? I want to hear it all. A good, healthy debate in the comments. That's what it's all about. Thanks for watching.